Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Unreal. On this episode we are taking care of, well, first of all, the level called Illumination. And this just means that the Scars generator kind of illuminated everything and destroyed itself. And now we have this great translator here. For some reason I still have the scuba gear remaining, but that's the searchlight. Searchlight is very useful indeed, and you'll want to have it on for the next section. And this level is called the Darkening. And it is called that because, well, the mothership core, which we have to go back into, is dark. And it also means that all the power is out completely. And that means that all these caches of goodies that we saw earlier that were blocked off, now we can finally get them. Which is nice because we're going to need all of that weaponry. And that leads us back down if we wanted to go back down, but I don't. I think I was just unsure of where I wanted to go here. But at any rate, you kind of want to take your time through here, or just be careful because there are a lot of pupas around the corner. This is not going to be the last of the pupas, not by a long shot. And there are a lot of very, very, very tough experimental enemies around here. Remember the Mothership Lab had an experimental Scourge in there? Well, guess what? We're going to have a couple more experimental Scourge, and they are the toughest Scourge that exist in the entire game. There's two different types we're going to face eventually, and you'll see them pretty soon, but first of all, deal with these pupa as much as possible. There's different ways to go in this area. I mean, the mothership core is pretty nice, but I mean, it's a nice design of the level, but it really makes you kind of think about the level because it's completely different between being illuminated and being dark. It's very scary when it's dark. They kind of designed a nice collection of corridors here to kind of trick you up, I guess, and make things a little creepy. And this level is pretty creepy with the soundtrack and with the electronic voices in the background. And here's our first really, really tough enemy. Really, really tough Scourge. It's a green Scourge, and if you remember the yellow Scourge or orange Scourge that we saw earlier in the Mothership Lab, that I think what they're trying to tell you is they tried to experiment with it and combine a shield belt with it. And so its shield was very strong, and this one is about as strong as that one, if not stronger. They're very quick, the AI is actually improved on, and this one actually went out into another section of the level. And at this point I'm trying to figure out where it is. I can see the green glow, so I know where it is, but I'm also hearing pupas, and I've got to deal with those as well. And I find the Razorjack is probably the best weapon for the pupa. I tried the bio rifle for the pupa, but it just didn't work that well. You have to time it just right, and they'll actually jump out of the way, and then they'll crawl away from it, and then when it explodes, it doesn't really do any damage for them whatsoever. So I find it's not a very good weapon for them. I find the pupas, the automag, any hit scan weapon, ASMD, the automag, or the Razorjack really does well. If you can time it right, the Razorjack is perfect. And I can hear a ton of pupas, and I see that green Scourge over there. And I was trying right here to get a good Razorjack shot on him, but I wasn't able to do it, unfortunately. You can see he's trying to attack me there. These are a lot smarter. I was trying to show off the AI a little bit. They're a lot smarter, it seems, than the regular Scourge. They'll actually wait for you, and they'll hide. Sometimes they'll try to get help, sometimes they won't. But that won't be the least of our worries, trust us. Trust me on that. We're going to have to deal with a lot more Scourge. And I don't like the fact that all these pupas are making all this noise in here. And I could have cut this out, but it kind of shows you how creepy this level is. When you hear all the pupas around you, you're like, where the hell are they? And actually they're on the very bottom of this section here. And here I just kind of jump over here to check this area out. There's nothing really here to look at, but I just was kind of curious to see if there's anything down here. And there isn't, but you can kind of see below there a little bit. And just be careful with your jumps there, because if you jump down there, there are a lot of enemies that will start to attack you. Here I'm just trying to examine what's down there before I jump down there. And yes, I know I could be wasting your time on this, but here we go. Time for some action. Probably wasn't a good idea to use the Razorjack in such close quarters. I honestly don't know how I managed not getting hit at this section, but I didn't. And I think I just was trying to get lucky with the headshot like I did there. And that was dumb luck on my part, but I had been practicing the game, and I think I was doing alright as far as the headshots go. And the aim goes. And there's another crawl down here. You'll have normal crawl to deal with, and those are easy compared to the crawl that, like that green crawl that we saw. You'll be thankful for these crawl. These are the easy ones. And I can still hear a shitload of pupa. I don't know where they are at this point, but I'm going to find them. Here's another cache of goodies. Mainly interested in ASMV cores at this point. Flak shells and ASMV cores. The 8 balls are going to be useful as well. Now over here, I believe there's going to be another green scarge, and that's what I'm kind of gearing up for because I saw the glow. Thankfully they have kind of a glow to them. Kind of like they're radioactive, I suppose. And see they're running over there. I'm trying to lob this over here, trying to get them. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not, but they have a lot of armor. So it takes quite a few hits to get rid of them. And that may have been a dumb waste of ammo, but trust me, we'll get more 8 balls later. So, thankfully, ammo is one of those things that they give you plenty of in the last episode, or the last couple of episodes anyway. I really don't like these guys. See, they're fast and they're relentless. They're like the board, I suppose. We got him. Also, you'll notice there he jumped up and collapsed again. That's because we didn't fully kill him. The scars are actually scripted in the AI to kind of... and I believe I showed this to you. I think it was in the ISB cram. They're actually scripted so that you think you've got them killed, and they're just a little close to being killed, and then they'll pop back up again, and they'll come after you. I think that's really tricky on the part of the developers, but I like that. It keeps you on your toes. Yeah, this level's really creepy. And yeah, I think I saw a green glow up here. Guess what? I got really lucky with that shot. If you see the green glow, yeah, go ahead and just launch your 8 ball at him. If you get about 5 shots directed at him, that'll usually get him. And we've got a bunch of pupas in here, of course. Kind of like the music changes. It's like a little mini boss battle, but I think it was changing just for the green scars and not necessarily the pupa. So it kind of seems a little weird to me, but I think the boss music here will change, and it'll change to the boss music when you get into the room, but it'll unchange once you get rid of the pupas. And I realized there were some pupas in the mothership lab, I think it was, the mothership basement that I didn't get rid of. There are some imprisoned mercenaries, but I didn't want to deal with them. And at this point, yeah, there's another green scarf around here, and it finds you, and I got really lucky there. But thankfully the room kind of helped. The shape of the room, I was able to kind of go along the back there and get out of the way of the scars. Sometimes I don't like the rooms in that sometimes they'll have those columns back there and you try to back up against them and then you get stuck and you're like, well, shit, what do you do now, right? But that section, that nice little octagon there is pretty nice. Oh, and those tables will hurt you. And there's a green glow down here, so we got yet another one. I've lost count of how many that we have to deal with, but we have to deal with a lot. A good thing about this section right here is that if you're lucky, the green scars will actually move to the left or the right, and to this, into the bottom there, into that green stuff down there, and that'll actually instant death it. And that'll instant kill you as well. Now this section is out of the, out of the fire and into the inferno. And this section I wasn't sure what to do here, so as soon as this guy came, I pretty much ran and headed for the hills. Because it was just a close quarter battle and I didn't want to deal with them. I'm trying to arc the 8 ball around here, but these guys are actually smart enough that they'll get out of the way. They'll know when they're trapped. You see it'll kind of wait there. And the scarred projectiles don't really hurt that much, but when they grab onto an 8 ball or something like that, that's bad. You'll notice this is a Scourge Warlord, I think, because he's got the blue armor there, so he's very strong. Got a lot of armor, a lot of health. I think these guys just have a lot more health than armor. But either way, they're tough. I'm not sure which one's tougher. I would imagine the green Scourge are a little tougher than the Scourge Warlord. Kind of a weird little thing going on with the polygons, but they kind of settled down there. So, and here I can hear a lot of pupas, and I don't like them. You'll notice that the teleporters are gone because the power's out, and we're not going to be able to use those teleporters again. Once the power's out, that's it. And what we're going to have to do is access the emergency power for the mothership core. Because we still need access to get to the final boss of the game. And I like how they did this. They took you through the level, the mothership core, one way with all the power and everything, you know. And then they took you through the mothership core again and made it tougher. You hear the music changing? Yes, we got the blue Scourge. These are kind of invisible, so they're kind of hard to hit. And they're slightly different than the green ones, and they're very, very fast. They are much faster than the green ones, I think, but we got lucky there. That's not the blue one, I believe. I believe there's 3 or 4 green ones and 2 blue ones, but I could be wrong on that. I'm doing the commentary a little after I recorded it. Wasn't very pleased with the commentary when I did it live, so I decided to redo it. And you'll notice these rooms here, the Mercenaries are now gone, the imprisoned Mercenaries, because the force field that held the cached weapons and everything is gone. And so now we have to deal with this. So that is pretty much telling you that the Mercenaries have escaped somewhere, and some of those are the tough Mercenaries. And there's actually a section of this mothership core where I'm not going to visit, where the Mercenaries kind of ran off to. And honestly, I'd rather not deal with them. We've already dealt with Mercenaries before. They're really tough, especially when they had their blue armor on. And they're just a pain in the ass, and I'd rather not deal with them. Now down here, I believe there's another blue Scourge. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, there he is, see? Yeah. This one I got really lucky on. I don't know how I got this lucky. I just kept going backwards, and I think I got lucky because some of the Razor Jacks actually hit him. And right here, I mean, that got him. So you can see a nice little blue Scourge here. And I still have the searchlight on. Notice that the searchlight hasn't used up much of the battery. In the manual it says it's practically inexhaustible. And actually I think a long time ago I actually tried to play through the entire game with the searchlight, and I only needed to respawn it once, I believe. So the searchlight's pretty handy. I like that they, you know, don't leave you in a lurch like they did with the Sunspire. Although the searchlight would have been great in the Sunspire. But they didn't do that. But then again, you know, in the Sunspire we didn't have to deal with these green Scourge and blue Scourge and Scourge Warlords, you know. So I think that's kind of a, I think that's a fair trade-off. Now here you can kind of hear Mercenaries talking. I think that's what the noise is. And I'm trying to figure out how I can shortcut this and not deal with the Mercenaries. And I'd rather not deal with the Mercenaries, to be honest. Now, of course, by this time, you've got pretty much all the enemies done. And I believe that Scourge Warlord kind of prevents you from going into the emergency power supply area. Or emergency power area. And I hear a pupa around here, but I'm not going to deal with them. Or maybe I will, I don't know. Yeah, here he is. See, that's the problem with pupas. They'll jump right at the right moment, and you're screwed. But anyway, so you can go over here now. And this is the emergency power supply. Emergency power source. So what we got to do is turn it on, but we need access to it. And I like how they designed this. It's pretty nice. You'll see it's actually pretty... it's not very static at all. It'll move around a bit for us. So now we've got our authorization granted. And this is kind of confusing because it doesn't really tell you how to activate the emergency power supply. And you kind of have to figure out how to do it. There's no switch or anything. So you have to kind of go into the right place and stand at the right place. And I think here I just was kind of double checking that I had the authorization for it and make sure that there wasn't any other switch. But there's not. And honestly, I kind of wanted a little bit of a rest out of after what I just dealt with. But here you go. This is what you do. You stand about here, and then the emergency power supply comes online. And that's it. You can't go into the mothership core anymore. The doors have actually switched up on you, and the next area is going to be the source antechamber. And that pretty much wraps up this episode. There's only one episode after this for Unreal, then we'll go possibly into Escape from Napoli. So thank you so much for watching Let's Play Unreal, and on the next episode we'll see what big bad boss is at the end of this game. So thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.